The first ever footage of a great white shark in the Mediterranean.
132 feet underwater, diver Dirk Remmers saw something that shouldn't exist. Not a shadow and not a trick of the light. A 13-foot great white shark in a sea where they were supposed to be extinct. It wasn't just passing by, it was moving directly toward him, cutting through the water until it was barely 9 feet away. His fingers were trembling so hard, he almost dropped the camera. What he filmed in the next 30 seconds became one of the most viral wildlife moments of 2026, covered simultaneously by CNN, National Geographic, and Al Jazeera. And scientists who watched the footage went very, very quiet, because this wasn't just a rare sighting. This was proof that something is living in the Mediterranean Sea that scientists have spent decades insisting is basically gone. They call it the ghost population, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why that name is more accurate and more terrifying than anyone first realized. Mid-May 2026. Roughly 50 miles offshore in the Strait of Sicily, the narrow channel of open water sitting between the toe of Italy and the coast of Tunisia. Dirk Remmers is 3 minutes into a dive for the Healthy Seas Foundation, descending toward a submerged shipwreck that's been accumulating abandoned fishing nets for years. He's done this dozens of times. It's quiet, methodical work. Then the ocean shifts. A 13-foot great white emerges from the depths. Heart racing, Remmers scrambled to turn on his camera. The video shows the shark passing by, within around 9 feet, before swimming off into opaque blue water. Statistically, it is way more likely to win the lotto jackpot than to meet such an iconic animal underwater, Remmers said afterward. Nothing prepares you for a moment like this. What he captured is believed to be the first underwater footage of an adult great white shark ever filmed in the Mediterranean in its natural habitat. Rare surface sightings have occasionally been recorded in the region, but underwater encounters filmed by divers have never previously been documented. Let that land for a second. One of the most filmed, most studied, most feared apex predators on Earth, and nobody had ever captured it underwater in the Mediterranean. Not once, in recorded history. The question isn't why it showed up. The question is, how long it's been there without us knowing. And the answer to that is, what should really scare you? But the most shocking part isn't that this shark is here. It's where its family actually came from, and the terrifying reason they've chosen this one specific spot to hide their young. Scientists have a name for the great whites of the Mediterranean. They call them a ghost population. Not extinct, but rarely observed, slipping through the water like they were never there, leaving almost no trace. Historical records stretching back more than 150 years document their presence across the region, from Spain and France to Italy, Malta, and Greece. These sharks were never truly gone. But here's what nobody expected. A 2020 genetic study led by the University of Bologna revealed that Mediterranean great whites are unique. By analyzing DNA from historical shark remains, researchers found that this population has been isolated for around 3.2 million years, making it one of the oldest and most distinct white shark populations on Earth. 3.2 million years. To give you a sense of scale, the entire human evolutionary lineage, from early Homo to modern humans, spans roughly 2 million years. These sharks have been evolving separately in the Mediterranean for longer than our entire genus has existed. Think about the world 3 million years ago. Continents were still shifting. The Sahara Desert was a lush forest. Entire species of mammoths and saber-toothed cats rose to dominance and vanished into extinction. And the whole time, while empires fell and technology transformed the face of the Earth, these specific sharks were circling the same Mediterranean reefs, unchanged, undisturbed, and completely unnoticed by the world above. Think about that. While we were learning to use fire, these sharks were already masters of this sea, and they haven't changed a bit. And when scientists looked at the DNA, they found something nobody predicted. By analyzing mitochondrial DNA from shark remains found over the last 200 years, researchers discovered that the region's sharks are more closely related to Pacific populations than to those in the Atlantic. Not the Atlantic, their literal next-door neighbor, the Pacific, but the DNA didn't just show they were old, it showed they were lost. This clarifies why the Pacific connection is such a mystery. Wait, how is that even possible? A shark from the Pacific, trapped in the Mediterranean. To understand that, we have to look at a map of Earth that doesn't exist anymore. The leading theory, ancient great whites traveled from the Pacific, crossed the Atlantic through a prehistoric ocean passage that no longer exists, the Central American Seaway, and entered the Mediterranean millions of years ago. When that passage closed, they were sealed in, cut off from every other great white on Earth. For 3.2 million years, they've been evolving alone, in secret, in a sea that 500 million tourists swim in every summer. But the genetics didn't just reveal where they came from. They revealed something about this population that should terrify conservationists and anyone who thought these sharks were harmless stragglers. But surviving in secret for 3 million years came with a hidden price. The DNA revealed a frightening truth. This ghost population is fading. Because they've been cut off from the rest of the world for so long, their genetic clock is ticking down. White sharks in the Mediterranean have a very low genetic variability, which may hint at a very small and endangered group of sharks, said lead researcher Agostino Leone of the University of Bologna. Small population, low diversity, almost no documented sightings for decades, and yet pregnant females, juveniles, and adult individuals of both sexes have all been recorded between Sicily, Tunisia, and Libya. That's not a dying species washing up on foreign shores. That's a breeding population, hidden, self-sustaining, operating completely below the radar of modern marine science. The Strait of Sicily is believed to be a nursery for great white sharks and one of the population's last remaining strongholds. A nursery, right now, in one of the most heavily trafficked bodies of water on the planet, surrounded by some of the busiest shipping lanes and fishing operations in the world. And that's exactly the problem. Because what's kept this population alive for 3.2 million years is now what's threatening to end it. The shipwreck where Remmers filmed his encounter had been accumulating ghost nets for years. Invisible traps that have likely claimed countless of these rare predators. It's the ultimate irony. The very thing that kept this population hidden for 3.2 million years is now the biggest threat to its survival. Scientists are keeping the exact location of the wreck a secret to protect this last stronghold. Because while we've spent centuries sailing these waters, we're only just realizing we aren't alone. We don't know how many are left. We don't even know the full extent of their range. All we know is that the ghost population is still out there, still hunting, still breeding, still invisible, until the right person hits record at exactly the right moment. But great whites aren't the only extinct giants that might still be walking or swimming among us. If you think a 13-foot shark in the Mediterranean is shocking, you need to see what researchers just discovered in the frozen north.